Smart Solutions. Add-on desired.
Hello viewers, welcome to Addod Solutions Daily Current Affairs. I'm Lokesh Penigonda. This session is designed for aspirants who are preparing for banking, groups and such other competitive examinations. We cover news articles from both the Hindu and the Indian Express. Make a use of this session. First, we have an article which is dealing with the DRDO's new antibody detection kit. Earlier this month, we have seen how the DRDO, which stands for Defense Research and Development Organization has come out with a COVID-19 adjacent therapy drug called as the 2-DG. It means the 2-deoxy-D-glucose. This is a COVID-19 adjacent therapy drug. That means patients who are already COVID positive and who are suffering from mild to moderate COVID-19 would be able to take this drug so that it can be helpful for faster recovery. And now the same DRDO organization through its subsidiary has brought out a new antibody detection kit, and this antibody detection kit is named as DIPCO-1 kit. So what is the significance of this new antibody detection kit? First is, this kit will be able to tell you whether you are COVID positive or not within 75 minutes. Next is, this will be priced at 75 rupees. So at a very lesser cost, you will be able to know whether you have the COVID-19 antibodies or not. And you can also know this result within 75 minutes. This is the significance of this new antibody detection kit. You should also know that this new kit has been brought out by DRDO's agency, which is called as the Defense Institute of Physiology and Allied Sciences, shortcut as DPAS. So the Defense Institute of Physiology and Allied Sciences, which is a laboratory of DRDO, has come out with DIPCO-1 antibody COVID-19 detection kit. Next, we have an article which is talking about a new truce. Earlier this week, we have seen how there was a huge flare-up between the Israel and Palestine, mainly the Hamas group, which are controlling the Gaza Strip. So we have seen how both the Hamas and the Israel has fired numerous rockets, and in these firings nearly 200 Palestinians and 12 Israelis have lost their lives, and many countries have tried to bring a truce, that is, they try to bring an agreement to stop this rocket launches, to stop this firings, to stop this violence happening in these two areas. And finally, the country Egypt was able to broker a truce between the Hamas and the Israelis. So what you need to understand is that it is the country Egypt that has tried and that has successfully brokered a peace deal between the Hamas and the Israeli government. Next, we have an article which is talking about the SBI report. The State Bank of India has given a report which stated that even at $40 for each COVID-19 vaccine, the government would have to spend only 3.7 lakh crores. That means even if you are spending $40, which is nearly 8 times higher than the normal vaccine we are paying now, we still have to pay only 3.7 lakh crores. And the State Bank of India has stated that this 3.7 lakh crore is less compared to the government revenue loss. Compared to the loss the government is incurring due to the lockdowns. And the State Bank of India has stated that if the lockdown goes on till the month of June, the government will lose nearly 5.5 lakh crore as revenue, because we know that due to lockdown many industries, many companies have shut down, and many people has lost their lives and livelihood, and this has disrupted the economy, and we have even seen negative GDP growth in the last 1 year as well. So the State Bank of India is stating that even if you vaccinate by at a higher cost, you would still incur only 3,70,000 crores, and this will be small amount compared to the 5.5 lakh crore you would be losing if you don't remove the lockdown. So it is asking the government to speed up the vaccination procedure and to open up the economy by removing the lockdown and the restrictions imposed on the citizens. Next, we have an article which is dealing with the passing away of a Gandhian who is Mr. Sundarlal Bahuguna. So in this image you can see Mr. Sundarlal Bahuguna. He is a follower of Gandhian ideology, and he has played a key role in the Chipko movement. In the the 1980s and the 1990s, we have seen huge destruction of forests in the Uttarakhand and in the Himachal forested areas. And finally, a group of people went and they have opposed the destruction of the forest. And when the contractors have brought in machines to cut down the trees, they have hugged the trees, stating that if you want to cut the trees, you have to cut us as well. So this was a huge movement which was aimed to protect the forest in the Uttarakhand and nearby areas, and it was named as the Chipko movement. And Mr. Sundarlal Bahuguna has played a key role in this movement, and even later he has played major role in the protection of environment and in the protection of natural resources, and now he has passed away. Even Mr. Modi, who is the Prime Minister of the country, has felt the pain, and he has commented regarding the passing away of Mr. Sundarlal Bahuguna. Next, we have an article dealing with the RBI dividend which is being paid to the central government. We know that Reserve Bank of India provides loans to the government, it provides loans to the commercial banks, and after providing loans, it will be collecting some interest amount. So let's assume that it is providing 1,000 crores as loan to several banks, and after some period of time, not only it will be collecting 1,000 crores, but it might collect 500 crores as interest. So these are various operations the RBI does, and the RBI will be getting huge amount of money through these operations. But all this amount of money might not be spent on the RBI expenditure. So let's assume that RBI is able to get 1.5 lakh crore as profit due to its operations, and it might able to spend, or it might have to spend only a portion of this amount for its daily operations. So a large portion of its amount will be surplus, and according to the RBI Act of 1934, the surplus amount have to be transferred to the central government, and now the RBI board has stated that it will be transferring nearly 99,000 crores, which is a surplus amount it has able to get in the year 2020 to 2021. And there is one important issue that you have to remember. Every year, the RBI follows the financial calendar of June to May. That means the financial calendar of the RBI starts from June 1st and it will end on May 31st. And now, starting from 2021, RBI has stated that it will follow the April to May calendar. That means the financial year of the RBI will start from April 1st and it will end on March 31st. And as the RBI is planning to start its financial year from April 1st, the amount that is 99,000 crores, which is surplus, is only the surplus amount the RBI achieved from June 2020 to March 31st of 2021. So, for the 9-month period, RBI is able to get nearly 99,000 crores as surplus amount, and the RBI board has approved the shifting of this amount from RBI to the central government. So these are several issues that you need to write it down when it comes to examination. Next we have an article dealing with the Supreme Court staying on the Allahabad High Court using the doctrine of impossibility. We have seen how the COVID-19 cases have been increasing in the country, and it is increasing in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So the High Court of Uttar Pradesh has given several measures, and it stated that these measures have to be implemented by the Uttar Pradesh government within a specific time. Then the Uttar Pradesh government has went to the High Court challenging this order. It stated that within the time given by the High Court, it is impossible to implement these ideas. So, if the High Court is stating that you have to vaccine 1 crore people within 2 days, it is almost impossible by the Uttar Pradesh government to do so. So, the Uttar Pradesh government has went to the Supreme Court stating that these orders or measures which the High Court has asked us to implement are impossible to be implemented, and the Supreme Court also has accepted this view of the Uttar Pradesh government, and when setting aside the High Court order, it stated that High Courts should consider the possibility of execution of a decision when they are giving such an order, and they should not pass any orders that are impossible to be implemented. So this is with respect to the doctrine of impossibility the Supreme Court has used against the Uttar Pradesh High Court order. Next we have an article where an MP from Haryana is requesting the union government to provide more amount of amphotericin. Earlier in our current affairs session, we have seen how the black fungus, which is also called as mucormycosis, is affecting those persons who are already infected by the COVID-19. So persons who are affected by COVID-19, persons who are recovered from COVID-19 are getting infected by the black fungus or the mucormycosis. And as a number of people who are getting infected with this fungus are rising in the state of Haryana, a Haryanese minister has asked the union government to provide the amphotericin drug which is being used to treat the black fungus infection. Next we have an article where the NATO, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, has stated that it will fund the Kabul airport operations. We know that the United States and its allies, that is the NATO troops, will be leaving the country of Afghanistan. They have signed a deal with the Taliban which stated that they will leave Afghanistan within few months, and as they are leaving the Afghanistan, they want to make sure that they are providing at least some amount of help to the Afghan forces and to the Afghan government. And in this regard, the United States and the NATO has stated that they will from now on provide extensive training to the Afghan government forces. So by providing training to the Afghan soldiers, they will be able to protect themselves and they will be able to defend the Afghanistan country from the Taliban. And apart from providing training and military equipment, the NATO also stated that it will also fund the Kabul airport operations that will be helpful to protect the Afghanistan from the Taliban. Next we have an article which is talking about the Global Health Summit. The Global Health Summit is held recently, and this is held by the Group of 20 plus the European Commission. So jointly the group of 20 countries and the European Commission has held this global health summit, and many global leaders have taken part in this summit, and the Chinese president Mr. Xi Jinping has stated that his country will provide $3 billion more to developing and underdeveloped countries regarding COVID-19 vaccines buying. So, to procure the COVID-19 drugs, COVID-19 vaccines, Chinese government will provide $3 billion as additional measure to the developing and underdeveloped countries. Earlier, Chinese government already provided nearly $2 billion to the developing countries for the procurement of these vaccines. So what you need to understand is that there are several countries in the African continent and in the South American continent which are very poor, and they don't only have money but also they lack the vaccine manufacturing capacities. So the country China is providing vaccines to them, and these vaccines are provided to them at a free of cost or at reduced prices. So in this article you can also see Beijing has offered free vaccines to 80 countries. So the country China is planning to provide a total amount of $5 billion to these developing and underdeveloped countries regarding COVID vaccine production or COVID vaccine procurement. Next we have an article which is dealing with the Kalakshetra board. 12 eminent artists were appointed to the Kalakshetra board by the union government. So what is this Kalakshetra board? Kalakshetra board is the apex board that will be responsible for running the Kalakshetra organization. Kalakshetra organization or the foundation. So what is this Kalakshetra foundation? This is a foundation set up by Miss Rukmini Devi Arundale in the year 1936. So way back in the year 1936, Mr. Rukmini Devi Arundale has started the Kalakshetra Foundation in the city of Chennai, which is the capital of Tamil Nadu. And this organization aims to protect traditional arts and culture of India. So it will protect and preserve traditional arts and cultural activities of India. And in the year 1994, the government of India has notified this foundation as an institute of national importance, So this is a significant foundation, and the Ministry of Culture appoints eminent persons to the board of Kalakshetra, which will be responsible for functioning of this organization. Next we have an article where the World Athletics Body has allowed 23 Russians to compete in the Tokyo Olympics, as neutrals. So what do you mean by neutrals? To participate in the Olympics, a person can be either be supported by a country or he can participate as a neutral. And the country of Russia is suspended to take part in several Olympics. So in the last few decades, what we have witnessed is the Russian government supporting the athletes to use illegal doping substances. So several athletes are found out that they are using illegal substances that aim to improve their performance in Olympics, and that's why the Olympics or the World Athletics Body have suspended the country of Russia. And from now on, or from when the Russia was suspended, Russia cannot officially participate in the Olympics, but athletes belonging to the Russian country can request the World Athletics to participate as neutrals. And now the World Athletes have finally agreed to support or to allow 23 Russians to compete in the Tokyo Olympics as neutrals. So you need to understand that the country Russia is suspended to participate in the Tokyo Olympics. Next we have an article where the World Anti-Doping Agency has started to use a unique technique called as the DBS technique. DBS technique. In the earlier news, we have seen how the country Russia has supported athletes to use illegal and banned substances to improve their performance in the games of Olympics or in other games. So to find out those persons who are utilizing or using banned substances and to suspend them in the participation of the games, the World Anti-Doping Agency will be taking many steps, and now it has started to use the DBS technique, which is called as the dried blood spot. The dried blood spot. So what you need to understand is that the dried blood spot or the DBS is a technique used by the World Anti-Doping Agency or the WADA to find out those persons using anti or illegal or banned substances that is prohibited in various games. Next we have an article where the BRICS Astronomy Working Group has mooted or has proposed an idea of networking of existing telescopes. So we have the BRICS grouping, which stands for the Brazil, Russia, India and China and South Africa. So this is a group of 5 countries and this is an intergovernmental body, and within this body there is one working group called as the BRICS Astronomy Working Group. This is called as the BAWG or the BRICS Astronomy Working Group, and there was an online summit which was held recently by India. So India has officially held a virtual summit for this BAWG grouping, and in this virtual summit, several participants who are astronomers from these 5 countries have participated, and they have submitted a proposal as to create a network of existing telescopes. So we have telescopes being used by Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. So now there is a proposal to create a unified network so that astronomers from one country within this grouping can utilize the other countries' existing telescopes. This is with respect to this article. Next we have an article where the China's father of hybrid rice is dead. So in India we have the father of green revolution, which is Mr. Swaminathan. So in India we have the green revolution, and the father of green revolution is widely considered as Mr. M.S. Swaminathan. Similarly, in the country of China, there is an expert who is widely considered as the father of hybrid rice, and he is Mr. Yuan Longpin. And there is one significant fact that you need to remember. It is that nearly 50% of the rice which is being cultivated in China is using the rice technique or the hybrid rice seeds, which is developed by Mr. Yuan Longpin, and he is also a recipient of Raman Magsaysay Award Foundation. So he is a father of hybrid rice of China. And with this we have come to the end of this session. Inform about Addod's initiative to your other aspirant friends and show us your support by subscribing to our channel. Thank you.
Addod Solutions. Add-on Desires.